welcome back to the garden again. We are in the greenhouse. It is, my goodness, what day is it? It's bank holiday, so we're all over the place. It's Sunday, so we've got another day tomorrow where all of us are actually at home, which I can't wait for because I'm hoping to get a lot done outside today. The weather, I'm sick of saying it, it's all over the place. But today looks as though now it may be dry for the full day. There's only a very low % chance of rain for the rest of the day, whereas yesterday they said it was something like 80% chance. That's now moved to tomorrow. It's quite warm. So in the greenhouse at the moment, it's 27.2 and it only got down to 8.3 last night. So I'm really enjoying that it's warmer even though it's wet. So if we can just move away with the wet or just rain during the night, all good with that, because I'm really sort of trying to get out and do as much as I can during these drier bits. And if it is really wet tomorrow during the day, I'm going to take a lot of rhubarb in and get that used tomorrow as a preserving day, and get ready for the week ahead as well. So I thought I'd show you what we've been getting on with. It's actually really warm in that sun coming through on my face. And I've also just been to Wilko's because I want to share with you what I've just purchased. I was going to get the more expensive things and kind of have them as a for life thing, but it's just not going to work out at the moment. I had a look, all will become clear. Had a look for what I need. It's going to cost just a fortune, which is, as I always say, if it's going to cost more than what your groceries are going to cost for the year, don't bother getting it. I mean, it's not quite that bad, but you know, let's go outside. It's really warm. Look at that. I've actually got a short sleeve t-shirt on under this just in anticipation. I always try and keep this gate closed here because just over there you can see there's the lambs and there's sheep, and we've got goats in there, and the horses are in here in the barn. Can't see them, make sure they're okay, and if any of them get out, which is sometimes does happen, they will come through here and they will have a field day. Now you will notice the ducks are in the veg plot and they will get super loud when I go over to them, so I'll stay here. And the reason I'm letting those guys linger is they're trying to help me out with the snails. I know they are, they're doing a good job. One other thing I must get today is the wild garlic, because it's going to flower, as you can see. Look at the flipping flies. Why is there so many flies? And these flowers are absolutely beautiful and edible. The whole of the wild garlic plant is edible, but I want to get the leaves and chop those flowers down to encourage more growth. All of these little green shoots here are wild garlic as well, so we're going to be using those finally to make an oil paste. So just literally blitzing them with some oil. I'm also going to put some in with some salt to do the wild garlic salt. I've been saying that for ages, can't remember if I said it on here. It's just not been the weather, and I just haven't felt like doing it because the weather, it gets you down when you can't get out and you're kind of just bored in the house. Anyway, as you might be able to tell, the difference here, the spinach has gone to seed that was from last year. The chard, now help me out guys, if I planted were these too soon? We've got some of the fire chard that were actually last year's, and I think I maybe kept them in pots too long, and they are going to seed now, so these will be getting replaced with something else. One of the benefits of always having something to plant is when this happens, at least I can get something else in. And I've got plenty of other space which I'm going to fill with the onions that were recommended, so they are in the cold frame, and Amanda, it was you I think that said to me get those in, so I'm going to get some more lines of onions in. There's actually beetroot in here, hoping now the sun's out that we might see that grow a little bit more. And I've got spinach in pots ready to go in, so I'm going to put some more spinach in here, and also I'll get more things sown, but I can do that when it's raining because I can do that in the greenhouse. Now in here I'm just going to give this a quick rake. I've decided I'm going to do my carrots and parsnips in here because, again, when you were chatting with me in the comments, you said think about, you know, stepping into the beds to get your, if I put tomatoes in there, is what I'm referring to, because I thought if I had tomatoes in this full bed it would look lovely, but I'd always be in and out of there to take off, if the indeterminate, I think, is that the right phrase, where you take off the side shoots anyway. And basically this would then become a bit of a problem because I'd have to be reaching in and out all the time, and anything else would be getting stood on doing that. I can smell these wild garlic in my hands, they smell delicious. So I'm just going to give that a quick rake in and get all of the little weeds that are coming out, and then we're going to sow carrots and parsnips in there today. And in this bed there are a few volunteer potatoes which normally, sorry ducks, I'm normally not too worried about, but they will cause problems with my shallots and things, and it looks like there's quite a lot. So I just want to get this little bed here raked. Look at this. It's like the rain, hasn't it? But there's no gaps here. These are the elephant garlic, so I left far too much space probably, but I left plenty of space there. Same for that bed. It just needs a hoe and a rake. Did you just see that? I think I've just seen a rat. Honestly, wherever you've got ducks or any, or was it just a duck? Anyway, feed, things like that, and eggs, they're just a nightmare. I know that's a bit much for some people, but I will actually, that leads me in nicely. So we've had pests in my cold frames. It comes under here and the back, and what's happened, you can see it's actually sat on my wild garlic, I think, and squashed it. But even worse, oh, just quickly look, these potatoes are coming through. There's a couple of weeds, but the potatoes as well. What's even worse, I opened this to check on the onions, look, which are still there. And I started watering these and I thought, oh, what seeds did I put in there? I didn't, did I? They were flipping charred, and something has been in and eaten every single one. Now, there's no snail trails or slug trails or anything, so I'm thinking it's mice or a rat or whatever it might be. I don't know. But anyway, that's a problem. Here we've got the one elephant garlic that I said I was going to grow in a pot to try and just get it super large and use that as seed. And this is a magnolia, because that's my mum's name. I saw it in the shop and I couldn't resist, so I'm probably going to put that on. But that's what we're doing today. Comfrey still needs to come out. I think I might dry that. Could make some feed with it, couldn't I, as well? Plant feed. Oh, and we tidied up. So Jack helped me the other day. Let's start that one again. We tidied. Stephen did this. This was full of nettles, and all along here full of nettles. So he has taken the lawnmower to it and he has hand pulled the nettles for me, bless him. And he's moved my 2 elderberry trees to here. So I propagated them myself. They were so easy, so pleased with them. Blackcurrant, small daffs, and then this is, one's the mulberry and one's fig. And then this is self-propagated from cuttings, gooseberries. And this is horseradish, but it's been eaten. What would eat horseradish leaves? Anyway, I'll leave that in there. I think I might put some nice little flowers. And the reason that we haven't started in the shed today, look, is because you can't get in there. I've literally used it to dump everything in, so I'm going to have to get to that. Here we've got stacked up at this end of the polytunnel everything that was around the back of it, because it was just becoming a haven for just throwing rubbish, and then you don't know what else is going to be kept around there, or what else might go around there, like those flipping pests. Anyway, so everything's just stacked up there. And in the shed, in fact, let me show you the damage in the shed. I don't, if you've seen it before, apologies, but this is why you need to stay on top of mice are very, very common on allotments, rats if you've got chickens. But look at this. You see that huge hole? This shed was built by Stephen, and so he put all of this down. It wasn't hard, it wasn't second-hand wood, it wasn't pre-chewed or anything. And this had no rats in it whatsoever, no mice in it whatsoever, and it was always locked, and they came up from underneath. How? Why? Who knows? So we caught the one that was in there, and it was a mouse. The rats are generally, and sorry if it's making anyone squeamish, but the rats are generally over where the animals feed are, not over here, and there's no feed for them in there other than the likes of your seeds, which the mice love, the seeds. If anybody knows, you can lose your seeds to mice. So yeah, that's why we need to stay on top of them, because they're a real problem. Anyway, so all of that outside is now nice and tidy. So I really appreciate the family effort there again, spoiling me rotten they are. And then in here, it's tidier. Let's have a look. This apple mint is ready for a huge harvest. Maybe we could do that today. Maybe, we'll see. I've been checking on these brassicas daily. There's one plant that's been, oh no, there's now 2. So this one has been munched on, but all the rest seem okay. I can see there's the odd, you got to remember you'll get the likes of woodlice and things like that in here as well, but so far so good. Randomly there's the plastic label out there. I'm not sure how that's happened, but I do need to make sure I lift these nets to be able to hoe and get the likes of this weed out and things like that before they become too much. It does look like we've got a bit of a sick plant here, so we'll see. That's why I need spares. And then the ones that I didn't get to are still here, waiting patiently. They have been eaten in some shapes, but I have been taking care of the snails that I found, and it is snails that I'm finding. Maybe the slugs are just too clever for me. So all of these need to go in. These are the spinach that I'm going to sow in the bed that I've just shown you. Fantastic thing is that the asparagus now is just coming up thick and fast, so I'll be harvesting that, a lot of that today, and we'll be having it as a meal. It doesn't look as healthy as it has in previous years. It looks drier, like dry skin basically, on the top. It's just not as healthy. I'm wondering if that's asparagus beetle. Not too sure. I've never seen one. I've never seen a beetle. And these beds here, so we've got this one with potatoes, the end one with potatoes, and I was thinking, I'm not sure, do I put tomatoes in here? It's got the hoops on, which is really helpful for the brassicas. That's why I was thinking about putting brassicas in there, just to keep the butterflies off. So I need to make a decision on that now, today, this morning, because that's what I'm doing. So I've got the carrots to sow, the spinach to get in, the rest of these brassicas to get in. It's too early to put the tomatoes out here. We could still get a frost any time up until the end of May, realistically. So we'll see. I need to decide. Anyway, let me show you what I got from Wilko's. Put them here just for now, but I'm going to take them out because I'm not going to say it's too warm. Oh, butterfly. It's not a cabbage white. Right, let's go out here. Now, let me get it all out. Goodness me, I'm telling you now, I'm going to start complaining about the heat. I'm not, I'm kidding. So, I love the borlotti beans. Now, Wilko only had the dwarf variety in. I couldn't remember when I was in there if I had the climbing variety at home. But I want a ton of these for our winter pantry. So, I've got those to get in as dwarf beans. Plastic plant tags, I know it's plastic, but I've tried the alternatives, the lollipop wooden ones, and just didn't work. Everything, just the ink on them, just what's the phrase, like bled into the stick, and pencil you couldn't see. Outdoor cucumbers, because I couldn't remember if I had any outdoor cucumber seeds rather. Brussels sprouts, because I had a panic that I haven't put any in, and it says I can still sow these ones in May, so it's just May now, so that's good. And some more secateurs, because I've left mine outside. I've just bought a cheap pair because I'm terrible for leaving them outside. They were just £3 something, and I've got 2 pea and bean nettings. And what I was talking about from an expense point of view, these garden nettings, these are 6 by 4, yeah, 6 by 4 meters, and I've used these on the brassica bed that I've just shown you, and they're probably only going to last me 1 season. And I know I should be investing in things for, you know, that you just buy once and use forever. But realistically, I looked at the cost of the same for gardening naturally, and I just couldn't afford it for all of the beds. So I'm going to try and maybe do that every year. I'll maybe buy one more bit of netting from gardening naturally and then invest from that point of view. But just to do it all outright is just not financially feasible. So good old trusty Wilko, 6 by 4 meters. These are still £4 a box. But they should do a bed each. So I got 4 of those and 2 of the pea and beans, which are 6 by 1.7, because I've got some peas to get out too. I've got some more of the jute twine, just because I need to make sure for the broad beans and the peas they've got something to cling on to where they're not using the netting. And then I've got some slug pellets, which may make you take a large intake of breath, but these are supposed to be ideal for organic gardening and won't hurt anything else. Now, I know that may or may not be true, and I'm not going to use them unless absolutely necessary, because you actually do need quite a few, and anything where I do have them will have netting around it, so no other birds and things like that will be able to get to them. That is just a plan B, worst case scenario. And then the only other thing I got was some large double tool hooks, because I need to get in that shed and get it sorted, and there's a lot of tools that are just hanging about, and all of that came to £38.80. So even just for this little bit here, it's not cheap. I actually sat down to show you all of that because I'm going to be doing enough bending over in the garden. So I think what we'll do now, I'm going to use the netting once I've decided what's going in. Where you saw those yellow hoops, I think I'm going to do brassicas rather than tomatoes, and maybe just put tomatoes on the edge of beds. I'll have a think. I'll get the carrots in first. We'll do that. But I'm going to have to go and tie my hair up and get this off because it is super, super warm, which is just lovely. But we just don't know where we're at. It's one to the other. I mean, is it the same where you are? Because I heard in the comments as well, Emma, I think it was Emma, who said down south they only had a couple of days where she is of nice sun, and then all of a sudden it's turned cold again. So, you know, what's going on, mind you? Who are we for Mother Nature to answer to? She'll just tell us what's what and we'll get on with it. Right, I'm going to do that and then start with the carrot bed and get some carrots sown. The lettuce are coming on really well, so I should be able to harvest some lettuce. We've been eating that with quite a few meals. I've been doing some Greek salads and things like that and enjoying that, and I have a ton of tomatoes. All of my tomatoes now need putting on into the next tubs. That is a job in itself, and it's going to involve, I need to go and check the muck heaps because to see if the compost is usable, and if not, where I can get it from at the old heap, but it's really difficult to get access to because I don't want to just use bought compost for them, because again it's just far too expensive. So there's quite a few things to be getting on with. You worried me then when I couldn't see you. You worried me. Itchy. And since my last update 30 minutes ago, we have fast forwarded to summer. I don't even know what to say without sounding like I'm complaining. Anyways, what am I doing? I've just put the horse out, so I thought I'd give you a quick video update because Stephen's back, so give me a hand. I'm getting the spinach in. How do I do that? There, my goodness, why was that so hard? Spinach in there, and I've cleared this bed ready for planting. As you can see, I've been studying it, reaching for the weeds, so reminding me very much so that I will be standing in it for whatever's in the middle, unless it's something that just grows without attention. So I'm going to get the rest of this spinach popped in, and we'll see where we go from there. This spinach here, with the kind of rounder leaves, is Matador, or at least that's what I promised myself when I took that tag out of the plant pot. And all of these along here look the same, but then the next lot that I've just pulled out without a tag on look like this shape leaf, which to me is a totally different plant. Now I'm hoping it's spinach because they're going to go in next to each other. I'm a bit concerned it might be chard. Anyway, they're going in, so I'm just going to continue this line. If you know what it is, please let me know. What's this one? Madania. I wonder if it's Madania, because when we first started putting the seeds in together, I don't know if I told you at the time, but I was just doing one tag per kind of tray of potted on plants, and you know, saying I'll remember, and then obviously I get muddled up when I put everything out in the cold frame. So I bet this is Madania. So I think we'll have a mixture here of of Matador and Madania. But I do have another one which is red veined in there. Oh, Tracy. Anyway, it's going in. All I'm doing is cleaning up the leaves, so as I go along, this plant's been in for a while, and any leaves that are no good or eaten, I'm just nipping off, and I'm just creating myself a little pile here, and then I'll come along with the weed bucket and put them all in and make sure, typical, I'm seeing loads of holes now as I'm saying this to you, making a liar of myself. Anyway, that's the plan. So the plants are going in cleaned up. This one has suffered a bit. These leaves here were against the greenhouse window, so they're actually burnt, but I'm sure the plant will recover. So I'm going to get this filled up, and we can see this here at the end. I'm sure that's charred and that's going to seed, but that's okay, we'll take it out, and then we'll get onto the carrots. Done. Now, from a different time, I went to Wilko. I've got 2 packs of carrots here. One is the Nonce 5 and one is the Resistor Fly, which is an F1. I've also got some night scented flowers, can't pronounce the other name of it. Anyway, the 2 carrots that I'm going to put in, I'm going to write up a tag for those, and I'm going to get a few rows of those put in here. I've also got some other carrot seed, but it's a little bit older, so I'm concerned that that might not come through, because I think carrot seed is one of the picky ones, but I'm going to give it a go anyway, because I don't want to waste them, and there's some quite good varieties there that I didn't get to last year. We'll see. I'll maybe just do 3 rows of parsnips. The thing is with the parsnips, they're going to be in a long time. It's a big commitment, isn't it? So maybe I'll just do carrots. We'll see. The spinach is all done, so I'm pleased about that. We can start harvesting that as soon as possible. This chard here, we'll see how we get on. I think, if I remember rightly, on Charles Dowden's diary, it says you can start, or you could have started a few weeks ago, but now is a good time to get chard in for the winter. To be honest, there's plenty of other green leaves around in the sort of the summertime anyway. Right, I'm making a start by drawing 3 dodgy looking lines. I've just used the hoe to do that because I can't find my dibber, and I've got the stick in my mouth if I sound a bit like this. So I've written out the tag. I've got my watering can, so I'm going to water these even though it's been raining for days. I'm going to water them, and then I'm going to cover them and stamp them down, firm them down, that's a better word. So I'm just going to do 3 rows at a time. So I'm going to do 3 of the nonce 5. Is that how you say it? From where I live, you'd probably say nants or nanties. Right, we're going to get those in, 3 rows of each, and we'll see where we get to. Keeping an eye on them. Watch that doesn't close on your head. No, don't jump in. That's not a good idea, lovelies. If they jump in the bed, they're going to have to go out, but at the moment, they're not too bad. Okay, so we've got 3 lines in. I'm just thinking these are a little bit too deep, so I'll have to be careful when I pull the soil back over. This bed, oh my goodness, it is so nice to work with. It might not be great for brassicas because it's quite fluffy, but this was purely, when we put these in, it was purely the horse manure of the colour that you can see in that bed. I didn't actually top this up in autumn, so that's why it's kind of still the same colour, but it is literally turned from the rotted horse manure look over there, which is the kind of the lighter browny colour where it's not completely rotted down, into this. Really pleased with it. So we just, for these beds we put in ourselves, couldn't afford to fill them up with compost, like bought compost, and so we just literally, all 3, well actually 4, the one behind me as well, we just used our own horse muck. So if you can get free horse muck, test it, try and grow something in it just to make sure it hasn't got any of that awful weed killer stuff in it that doesn't disappear. But we know, because it's our own, that we haven't used that. So yeah, if you can do that, that is a cheaper way of filling the beds than buying in soil or multi-purpose compost. Right, so there's 3 done. So I'm going to get another 3 lines drawn now, and then the other variety in. I'll get the label in first because no doubt I'll forget, and we'll just keep going all the way along. I'm quite happy for all of this bed to come with carrots. Whoops, I'm standing on my Wilko purchases. Quite happy for all of this bed to be filled with carrots and them to come at the same time. I'll just pick them from very young through to very mature, and then I will replant it probably for the winter carrots as well, and just grow the same thing all year in them, and then maybe grow something different in it next year. I'm not too worried about crop rotation though. We're back to winter now. So as Rodney joins me, I have just got the carrot bed done. I've gone over it with the rake ever so lightly, and I've patted it down with the back of the rake. And it's literally just started raining. It's only spitting a tiny bit, but that should be enough to water them in, so I'm not going to add any additional water. Am I, Rodney? Hey? Hi. Hello, boy. So Stephen's come out to give me a hand. There's somewhere that's not on this plot that he's working on. It's where we've got a big oil tank, so we're on oil, not gas here. And all around it is just weeds and stuff. And I thought, oh, that would be really nice if we cleared it out of the weeds and just threw some flower seeds in, basically, just to try and get it looking prettier than it does. There's nothing else there at the moment, so he's helping out with that. That's why the dogs are out, because they're following him all over. I'm not sure what I'm going to do now. It depends what happens with this rain, because it's quite a dark sky over there. Roots go really deep. Mm-hmm. Normally you do them when they pop. It's really satisfying. Even a tiny bit that's left, so one of those was snapped, and even a tiny bit will come back, but it'll be more manageable for sure. Just like Jerusalem artichokes. Get them every year, don't you, Steve?
This won't come back.
So what do you think? Plant them down there?
Hey?
Are we planting them down there?
Yeah, move all that crap and put it down there. And in that, even in there, stop the nettles coming. Oh man, what's this?
I know. Want me to guide it?
Guide it in there, so it doesn't have the probably go there.
Alright, hang on, lift it a sec. It's going to get one anyway, just do it.
I can bring it forward a bit, so just...
That's alright. Strawberry killer. Okay, let's get the nets. Greenhouse could do with a clean.
Let's get the clean now.
Ah. We thought it had stopped, but it hasn't. Anyway, we're going to carry on getting this net on. Stephen's just gone to get some screws because we're just going to put some screws in the bottom of the bed just to link this net around, because it's not long enough to go all the way to the floor, which is fine. 6x4, hopefully we can make it work. It's purely really it's just to keep the cats off at the moment, although I'm wondering whether I should have covered the carrot seed. It should be all right, shouldn't it? Do you cover your carrot seed? Anyway, I'm going to leave it like this because we've already got it started now. Stephen will be back any second. He just needs to go and get the screws and his drill. Bless him. If this was me, it would have looked such a mess if I was doing this on my own, so I'm so glad to have a helping hand. I think it is easing up. It's bright over there, believe it or not. The dogs are loving it. They're not bothered. I think they think they're ducks. All done. So the only thing you have to be really careful about is with this, this is that Harris fencing that's normally got all of the fencing on the kind of attached to it. This is just the frame, so, and then cut in half. So Stephen's done that for the bed. We used the 2 others over there and we used 2 here, and we've got some more that you can do it with as well. It's just cheaper using what we've got than obviously buying frames purpose built, and I don't think it looks too bad. This is the netting, if you can see it, that's on there from Wilco. So a £4 net covered the whole thing, and then free fencing, just cut out the insides, which actually might make a really good bean climbing frame. I've just thought of that. Let's have a think. Not now, Tracy, don't get distracted. Right, so believe it or not, I've weeded this bed. Stephen has very kindly taken the comfrey out, as you saw, so maybe there'll be more comfrey roots in here. Time will tell. We need to think about how we can net this bed as well, and even if it's just from the cats rather than from the birds and everything else. He has replanted a few of the comfrey along the edge here. I think there's 5, 1, 2 and 3 here. This grows prolifically, as you saw, with Jack by the hedge, and I think that's what all of these weeds are here. So anything that goes in this bed is going to have to be far enough apart that I can easily hoe it frequently. So these here, onions can be hoed easily because of the space between them, but now that they're getting longer and starting to droop on each other, it can be a bit difficult with the hoe, just because you've got to be really gentle, and I do try. So I'm thinking maybe brassicas in the middle, tomatoes around the outside for easy access, and then obviously while the tomatoes are small, they'll be easy to net until they get as high as the frames, and then maybe we just have to net the middle if we put brassicas in the middle. I don't know, I'm not too sure. Can you hear the lamb? She wants feeding. Yeah, because I was thinking tomatoes on the outside and brassicas in the middle, because brassicas, they'll be quite far apart and really easy to hoe around. And I just thought it'd look pretty and practical to have the tomatoes on the outside. They won't be going in yet though. In fact, I can hang fire with this bed. Tell me, what do you think? should go in this bed. Let's call this the corner bed, because I know I talk about a lot of different things. So this is the veg garden that we're in now, and it's the corner bed in the veg garden. What do you think I should put in here? I've got tomatoes that need to go out, I've got brassicas, and there's going to be more carrots. I haven't got any parsnips in this bed here. Just decided to just do carrots just because of how long parsnips will be in for. I'm not too sure. I can hear Stephen coming back. He's just taken that comfrey, the spare stuff, down to the pigs to feed the pigs because it's very good for them, and also on the muck heaps and for the chickens. And we're back to another season, from the winter all the way back through to the summer. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day today because I've just been reliably informed that we are now hosting for some guests coming over later. So I need to go and prepare that. It's okay, all good. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's been lovely spending the day in the garden with you. Feels like we've been here for a full year, seeing as though we've had all 4 seasons. The ducks have made their way around somewhere they shouldn't, which you can probably hear. I've literally just said to Stephen, I don't normally come round in front of the barn. And then, of course, they turn up in front of the barn. So I'm going to have to go and get the horses' stables to welcome them back in for the evening. And go and get myself looking a bit more clean and tidy. Although, to be fair, I probably won't. I'll just do the horses and have a drink and sort some food out. How noisy are they? Thank you for watching. I shall be back very soon with another video. In the meantime, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And for those that might give us a thumbs down, you know. Catch you later.